Kids, in this video we are just going to do something that you've done many times before, but we are going to just talk about it a bit more. That is called the if condition. As you all know, the if condition is used to check a particular condition. Like, what do you mean by a condition? Maybe a key being pressed, or a mouse being clicked, or maybe a variable's value going above or below, or maybe a particular, yeah. So yeah, these are typically the kind of things that we use for as conditions in the if construct. Okay, let's go about writing a small if construct right now. Right, so uh, let's write it in update. We'll write if condition to check if the space bar is pressed. Alright, so whenever you write an if condition, always write this first. Alright, once you write this, only you need to populate the inside of this condition. The actual condition is going to be inside the two parentheses, but always you have to write this basic what do you say outline. Okay, so that if you write an if condition, you start populating the condition out here, and then you may forget to open or close the braces. So always open and close the braces, and your if condition should always be exactly like this when you start typing. That is, if parenthesis and then open bracket, one space, and then close bracket. Remember this. I'm repeating it again just so that you remember it properly. You have to type if, open close bracket, open braces, close braces. If condition will always be inside a method. What do you mean by inside a method? Maybe inside start. Inside, when I say inside, it is always between the braces. That means inside. Okay, so now our entire if condition is inside update. What do you mean by inside? It is between the opening and closing braces that belong to this update thingy. Okay, so now we will populate the condition. Let's let the condition be pressing of the space bar. Get key down. Alright, no, I made a small mistake. Get key down and key code dot space. Right, so how do I check if the space bar actually pressed? I'll just print something out here. Debug.log, and our English text is always inside double quotes. It is called a string. Okay, so we will type space bar tapped or pressed. Alright, let's see now what happens. Where will you see the debug log appear? It will be in the console window. I am pressing the spacebar now. Can you see the spacebar pressed? If I click on this, the console window opens. If I click on this message, the actual line on which the command is getting executed, the command is written, that gets opened. Alright, so that's simple. Now let's try to change the condition to something else. What can we change it to? Okay, one more thing. What will happen? Question to you is what will happen if I move this if condition to start? What will happen now? Let me play the game, press spacebar, and see what happens. What do you think will happen? Think in the meantime. I'm pressing the spacebar now, nothing happened. Pressing the spacebar now, nothing happened. Why? Because the start method got executed when you pressed play. Okay, the moment it pressed play, this, imagine a kind of a control. Look at my cursor here, this cursor. So the control starts from here, tuck 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 tuck, end of start method. Okay, what happens in start? So end of start method, so it never comes back and checks whether the key code space was pressed. What happens in update though? My control is out here. Can you see my cursor? This is my cursor out here, this one. Okay, so when Unity starts executing, it checks this. Okay, if key code space, no, in the beginning there is no space bar pressed, then no need to go into the if condition. Okay, now what happens when it reaches the end of update is in the next frame. In the next frame, the frames per second wala frame, it comes back to this line, the first line of update. It again checks, was the key spacebar pressed now? No. Then it keeps checking 30 or 40 times per second depending on your frame rate. So whenever I press the spacebar, this condition will become true. A condition is always either true or false. It takes only one of two values. So either this becomes true and this debug.log command gets executed. This command prints space bar pressed, this text onto the console. It's pretty simple, right? So now let us we can do something else to make sure that this condition is actually getting executed even in start. So let's say if 5 greater than 1, okay, this is always true, right? 5 is always greater than 1, so this thing should be printed. Let's see if that happens. Spacebar pressed. Okay, so you can put any condition out here. You can say use a variable, say integer variable. This is called the type of a variable, integer variable, my variable. Let's make it equal to 5. Okay, and instead of actually checking with the hard-coded value, that's called a hard-coded value, we'll check it with a variable. So this condition now changes to if my variable is greater than 1. So now again we should have, so don't worry too much about the warnings right now. Warnings are shown so that your code is less error prone, but it does not mean the code has an error as such. See, you can see that the console shows spacebar pressed, which means the value of my variable is greater than 1, which is 5, is true. What will happen now if I make it 1? Do all these sorts of experiments on your own, and you will understand how the if condition actually works thoroughly. Alright, let's check it again. So now, okay, nothing appeared. Let me play again just for clarity. Nothing appeared again, because obviously 1 is not greater than 1. 1 is equal to 1. So this condition does not evaluate to true, and so this text, whatever we typed here, is not getting printed to the console. Alright, so you try with different, okay, let's check one more thing. So let's make our variable equal to 1. Let's put our condition as if my variable equal to 1500, okay, and there's one more interesting thing which is called an increment operator, which increases the value of my variable. So this should get executed 1500 times for it to be greater than 1500, and after that it will get printed every time, because 1501, 1502, all of them are greater than 1500. Okay, so let's check how much time it takes to reach 1500 times update call in Unity. How many times how much time does it take for update to get called 1500 times? Still not called. Okay, still not called. Let's see what happens. It will definitely get called sooner or later. Consider 40 times per second. So 40 should take about 40 seconds. That means, is my code correct? It looks correct. Still not appeared. Okay. Let's see how much more time it takes. Alright, let me reduce the value to a little lesser. Let's make it my variable, let's make it as 300. This should certainly take far less time. So remember, this if condition can pretty much take any kind of expression, like something greater than or less than or equal to. Alright, if I wanted to check the exact moment when this variable equals 300, I will use an equal to. Let's wait for Command Shift C. Yeah, see, it started appearing. So now at this point of time, our variable has crossed the value of 300. Now if I want to check if it is exactly equal to 5, what I would do, 5 or say 10 or any value, I can even check with another variable. I can put another variable out here, int my variable 2 equal to say 10, alright, and I can check if my variable equal to means it checks whether both these variables, whether whether the values on both sides of this equal to whether they are same. So in 10 frames this should be same, and it should come exactly once, because this variable will be equal to 10 only once. After that it will become 11. So we see it only once, right? So that's how you can use an if condition. There are multiple ways to use an if condition. Just remember that whatever is between the two braces out here is going to be executed once this condition is true. Right? Thanks for watching this video. Thank you.